The only way we're going to do better is if he gets out and somebody else gets in.
I just want to say I'm sorry. I voted for him and I thought he was going to help folks like me. Now, they didn't cut off my food stamps, my Medicaid, everything. I don't know how I'm going to eat or pay for my medicine. I made a mistake.
I mean, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached.
They're taking black jobs.
Hey, man, did Trump say the black jobs? They taking the black, who is they? They. Can I get an application? I need to get hired on with the black jobs. How much they paying for the black jobs? I never heard of them. Y'all black people ain't told nobody about the black jobs. Man, God, what's wrong with y'all, black people? There are black jobs out there that they taking. The black jobs. Let me know. Hello, anybody know where the black jobs are? Hello, the black jobs.
That the illegal immigrants or the immigrants were doing in the fields. I can tell you, Mr. President, that is not fucking happening. We are not going back in the field. You could get that out your mind. You and all your Republican buddies, it's not happening. So you need to come up with a better solution for your shortage of staff. You can't pay us enough. We've been there. We've done that. Not happening. You need to figure out how to work out a path to citizenship for all these hard-working immigrants that do want to work in this country. Because there are lots of people that comes into this country that honestly want to work. Not all immigrants that's here, whether they're here legal or illegally, want to commit crime or do commit crime. Statistically proven, you have more homegrown assault on this country than anything else. Mass shooting for one. You understand? So you need to figure out something. But black people, we're not the solution to that. We're not going back. And I believe if for some reason that was ever attempted, you're going to have a fight on your hands. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, man.
Literally, bro, like, I didn't even think he was gonna be this bad, you know. I didn't think he was gonna just deport innocent people, dude. Like, literally, he said he was only gonna go after gang members and, you know, dangerous criminals. How did my parents get here? They crossed the border. What's a tariff? A tariff is like kind of like a tax, but like we don't pay for that. Don't worry, China's gonna pay for that, and Mexico, nami though, nami. Yes, I did see that the stock market was crashing, dude, but you have to understand, like, dude, literally, it gets worse before it gets better, I promise. Like, it gets worse before it gets better. Yeah, you know, I graduated and I wanted to work for the government, dude, but I don't know, like, they took away my offer because Trump's, like, Doge cuts and stuff and Elon Musk, you know, but it's okay. Maybe I'm not meant to work in the government, you know. Maybe I'll be, you know.
Two fronts, being in the Afghan war and the Iraq war, especially recently with Trump's statements towards Cuba. The Trump administration obviously doesn't know what they're doing, and they don't have a long-term strategy for Iran. It also means that as Americans, we could probably prepare to go into Iran, since they are calling in literally the only person that could give them guidance on a long-term war. Are you scared yet? I am.
Because ultimately she's there like Omarosa would be there. What exactly is she being brought in to, you know, provide advisement on? It'll be interesting to see how other political commentators comment on her inclusion in the conversations right now. I think it'll also be interesting to hear her perspective, how she viewed either her experience or just, you know, her thoughts, because I remember how problematic she was and really just continues to be, you know. So I have been looking at kind of diverse perspectives, specifically from Black women on Condoleezza Rice at this point, because I think it's pretty interesting to see how Black women are, you know, kind of cheering her inclusion on. Like it seems like in the comment section and people who are posting videos, you know, that they're excited that she's there. They're saying things like, you know, Black women to the rescue. Black women always has to come in and save the day. You know, Condoleezza Rice has so many accomplishments, you know, and things like that. But I'm like, what is it that y'all think that she is going to do as it relates to saving something? Like, what is the context that you're putting out there about what it is that she, like, what her role is? And I just hope that we are able to, as Black women, have more of a critical lens around Black women in politics specifically, and also really deconstructing what inclusion and representation, what that means, and like when and how that's activated.
Hey, Condi. Yeah, Condoleezza. Why are you going to the White House? What are you doing? Is it a fundraiser? Are you there to smell his farts? What's the deal, girl? Why are you there? The architect of the Iraq War. What's going on, girl? You going scorched earth? Well, we're about to. We are so about to. $2 billion worth of military assets lost in 3 or 4 days. That's pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Y'all were not prepared for this because your ego got in the way. Because poor planning is how you plan. You don't actually look at all options.
So Trump was in the Oval Office, discussing how he's headed to Chicago next to deploy the military to help fight crimes. Now, hearing him say that African American women are screaming for him to come fight crime in Chicago, I don't understand why this man just lies, because 92% of Black women voted for Kamala. And why would a Black woman would be screaming for him to help do anything? Does he not know that 92% of Black women voted for Kamala? Y'all need to let y'all president know, because obviously he doesn't know.
Policies. Here it is.
If they let in hundreds or thousands of people who already have criminal records, if deporting them creates a mass deportation, I'm all for it.
But what if rounded up in all of that are people who work on a farm? They're doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do. Does that worry you?
That wouldn't be fair. Of course, they need to make sure that they don't throw away, they don't kick out, they don't deport people that are family oriented.
Oh, okay. This is what the family told MSNBC.
Mario and Mireya both crossed the border illegally as teenagers, but became citizens under President Ronald Reagan's amnesty. They see themselves as different from migrants crossing the border today. In what way do you think they're different?
The people that are coming here are the criminals. The ones that did something bad in their country, they're running away from their law.
Despite having close family members who are undocumented,
Migrant invasion.
They don't believe they'll end up in Trump's crosshairs. When you hear Trump promise mass deportations, do you worry about them?
Yes and no. Because the ones that I know, they're doing good.
Is a conservative. She's pro-life. She voted for Trump. But she's regretting her decision because now she's pregnant with her third child. She's older. And there might be some complications where the child might not make it. And her doctor's saying, hey, you may need to go out of state to get a late-term abortion, right? So she's going through a panic. And she calls her husband to tell her what the doctor says. And her husband said, no, that's just a liberal doctor. Don't worry about it. First off, to that woman who's in this situation, I'm sorry. I hope the worst case scenario does not happen. I hope you have a healthy baby with no complications. I would never want anything to happen to you and your child. Never. I don't understand this need to listen to your husband over a medical professional. I don't get it. That's why a lot of us don't mess around with religion. That's why a lot of us don't play around with conservative men. Because I would want a husband, because everybody's like liberal husbands are, my liberal husband would immediately go, what state, how much money we need to gather, let's find a doctor, here's a directory. That is the type of partner you want. The problem with conservative men is that they think they know everything and they think they own their wives, even at the detriment of their wives. I don't understand, ma'am, how you could listen to a man that's not a doctor and politicians about your healthcare versus your doctor. And we have been telling y'all for so long, this narrative that they are pushing about late-term abortions, wrong. It's wrong. It's only if there's something wrong with the baby. It's not just for the fun of it. Because if that were the case, then that would just be murder. Trump, Greg Abbott, your husband, they are not going to help you if things ever really took a turning point. So please, think of yourself, think of your child, protect yourself, protect your child, and you make arrangements despite them.
I regret voting for Trump. You guys told me I would, and here we are, just barely over a month after he was sworn in, and I have so many reasons, so many disappointments, and I've lost so many rights as a woman already. So I guess I'll just start listing the reasons why. So many rights gone as a woman, starting with did I lose rights? I thought I did. See, I was told so many times by the left that I lost all of my rights because I'm a woman, so I thought for sure I did, but now that I'm trying to come up with a list, it's just not coming to the tip of my tongue here. I don't know. Maybe we'll try again after I do some research.
I regret voting for Donald Trump. No, I'm just messing with y'all. I don't actually regret my vote. I do still think that he was a better option than Kamala Harris. But with that being said, I do just want to say that I do believe that he was going to be voted into office regardless of whether I voted for him or not. The more that I see things unfold, and yes, I was gone for 3 months, but I was still, paying attention to the world and following things that were happening. I do genuinely believe that he was going to be enacted into office in order for certain biblical prophecies to be fulfilled. No, I do not believe that he is the Antichrist, but I do believe that him being in power and certain events happening currently in the world, or that have happened in the last 3 or so months, or just ever since he has been into the presidential office, I do believe that those are biblical prophecies that are being fulfilled in front of our eyes, and that we need to be watching out for, and that we need to be very aware, and that we need to be very discerning. Like I said, I do not regret my vote for him because there are things that he's doing, that his cabinet is doing, that I do like and that I am in support of. But there's a lot of things that I look at and I'm like, you don't got to be doing all this. I don't think that the Trump that we voted for is the same Trump now, or maybe not necessarily that. Let me rephrase. I do think that there was some deception, and I will be first to admit that some Christians, especially as me, we did fall for the deception. Again, he did fulfill his promise, or he did keep his promises when it comes to illegal immigration, like all the things that he was trying to do. But I am concerned with some of the things that he's currently doing. And I've always been very open in the fact that I don't like him. I don't like his personality. I don't like how he talks to people and about people. But I was always, like I always have said, I did and I do still think that he was a better option than Kamala Harris. That does not make me regret my vote, but it does throughout my 3 months being off TikTok and kind of leaving that echo chamber. I have realized the left wing, the right wing, they're all a part of the same bird. It's just controlled by the same people. Neither the liberals are better nor the conservatives are better. So at this point, enough with the labels. I am not a conservative. I'm a follower of Christ. Yes, my values and my opinions and morals and beliefs do more closely align with the conservative values. However, I have decided to no longer apply this label to me that I'm a Christian conservative. I am just a follower of Christ. I'm a daughter of the Most High King. Because as Christians, the only thing that we can do is pray. Prayer is powerful. The only thing that we can do is pray for the people in power, that they will make the right choices and lead us. But at the same time, I have realized that our world is just going downhill. All these biblical prophecies are unfolding right in front of our eyes. and some of y'all are blind to see it, or just don't have the discernment to see it, or you don't want to admit that that is what we're saying. Which I don't necessarily blame you for. It takes a certain spirit of discernment to see these things that are happening in the world and to say, yes, God warned us about this and we need to be watchful about them. There's a few things that come to mind. I'm not going to go super in depth about all of them. But for example, the peace treaty being signed in the Middle East, Trump receiving an award and being called the Prince of Peace. Again, there's things that I like that he was doing, like with immigration and stuff. But there are certain limits that are being crossed. And again, I do not regret my vote, but I am being more aware of the fact that regardless of who I voted for, this was going to unfold. The Bible warned us about this, and I'm not trying to fearmonger, but there are things happening right now, and there are going to be things happening in the near and distant future that are specifically outlined in the Bible. And then we're not to be scared of them, but we are to continue to do what we're supposed to do, to spread the gospel, to reach other people, to show them Christ's love and his sacrifice for us, because that is how we reach. That is why I'm no longer interested in doing these lives and apologetics, because I realize and I understand now that people don't come into my lives because they're genuinely interested in learning a different perspective. People come for the debate. Let me get a gotcha moment. Let me clip this because people will think that I'm smart or whatever. People don't always have a genuine desire to know Christ. And
breaking news, I couldn't wait to share this story with you. Donald Trump is calling on a black woman to help him get out of the mess he's created in Iran. That's right. Donald Trump, the man who has attacked every black person with expertise in his administration, who's taken rank away from black generals, saying they only achieved their rank by DEI. The same man who took black history books from the military libraries. Well, today, a CNN reporter saw Condoleezza Rice quietly entering the White House. If you're not old enough to remember, Condoleezza Rice was the national security advisor during the period of 9/11, the Iraq War, under George W. Bush. Now, she's not a Fox News host. She's not a social media influencer like most of the people in Trump's cabinet. She happens to have a PhD in political science and is considered a brilliant person when it comes to the understanding of foreign affairs and geopolitics. So all of Trump's influencers are not very helpful in this situation. So it turns out that he needed to connect to a black person with expertise, which just seemed to me the ultimate irony for all he's done to try to discredit people. And for those of you who might be stumbling on this video, who think the war is going well in Iran, please take a look at another video I posted today. Colin Powell's chief of staff gives an eye-opening assessment of what the mainstream media or any media in the United States is not telling us. I think you'll be surprised. That's the video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.
Ooh. Who's that lady, y'all? Y'all know who that lady is? I know some of you old heads know who that is, but you young heads, that's Condoleezza Rice with Trump. They didn't call in Condoleezza Rice, y'all, into this situation. They got themselves in a little situation. And they done looked around the White House and they realized there's not one competent person in that White House. And they know they're in a situation with this whole Iran thing. So that was a mayday call. They called in Condoleezza Rice from the Bush administration, an extremely competent, extremely intelligent black lady. I'm glad they called in some competence, but I'm afraid it was a mayday call. So I'm afraid by this. Why did they have to call in Condoleezza Rice? I mean, we all know there's not one competent person in that White House. So I'm glad that they know that they needed somebody with some brains in there. But I'm also afraid that this was a mayday call. Condoleezza Rice was seen at the White House at the end of last week, y'all, because of this Iran situation. They know they're in some trouble. They might be trying to project some damn confidence in front of our faces, but there's a reason why they called in Condoleezza Rice. Watch this space.
Guess who was just pictured walking into the White House? You won't believe this. Condoleezza Rice, George W. Bush's national security advisor during the 2003 Iraq War. Now, this is a big deal because the Trump administration is trying to put on this brave face that, oh, everything's great. We don't care that Russia's helping Iran target us. You know, we don't care about the billions of dollars of irreplaceable radars, having lost 4 and we only have 10 in the world. On and on and on. The global economic catastrophe that's just hanging over our heads any second to drop. And they're bringing in someone well. They're worried. They're concerned. Don't listen to the ego and the bravado that comes out of their mouths. Just look at the facts on the ground.
Oh, hey, you guys. Guess what happened? Oh, you won't believe it. Trump had to call in the cavalry. He called in the cavalry. Guess who showed up at the White House? He walked up to her, shook her hand, rubbed her on the shoulder, and he escorted her back to his office. Condoleezza Rice. Oh my God, Miss Condoleezza, the expert on Russia and the Middle East. She was Bush's, y'all remember back in I think 2009, she was Bush's national security advisor. She know her shit. So I guess this war that Trump has started is not going the way he expected it to go. Guess who he called in? Yeah, he had to call in the GOAT. He called in Condoleezza to help him out. I know he's getting advice. I know he's trying to figure out how to fix this shit, how to get it right, what to do, because he don't have nobody. Not one person that can get this right. None of the people that work for him that are in his, they're not experts in none of this shit. They barely got their degrees. Don't know shit about shit. But he gave her a beautiful escort into his office. Let's see what she has to say, or what she's gonna do, or how much she needs to dig him out of this shit. But I was so glad to see her, and she looked good. I hate that she got to be here, because she's supposed to be chilling on the beach somewhere, enjoying her life, not doing this bullshit. But if anybody can do it, if anybody can get some intel, if anybody can advise to be on some intel, it would be her.
Colin Powell is dead. So is Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld. The only 2 people that are still alive that had anything to do directly with the war in Iraq are George W. Bush and Condoleezza Rice. Recently, Condoleezza Rice was seen at the White House, and Trump has referenced her personally. Condoleezza Rice is a powerhouse as far as foreign policy goes. In the 1980s, she was a nuclear strategist and a foreign relations strategist as well. She speaks fluent Russian, and in addition to that, she has direct involvement in both North Korea and Iran. Also, Condoleezza Rice knows what it's like to wage war on 2 fronts, being in the Afghan war and the Iraq war, especially recently with Trump's statements towards Cuba. The Trump administration obviously doesn't know what they're doing, and they don't have a long-term strategy for Iran. It also means that as Americans, we could probably prepare to go into Iran, since they are calling in literally the only person that could give them guidance on a long-term war. Are you scared yet? I am.
Because ultimately, she's there like Omarosa would be there. What exactly is she being brought in to, provide advisement on? It'll be interesting to see how other political commentators comment on her inclusion in the conversations right now. I think it'll also be interesting to hear her perspective, how she viewed either her experience or just
Black women. Trump finally came through for us, and I know we've been waiting, Black women, saying is he gonna he turning up so much ish, is he ever gonna do anything for us, something that we need, that Black women deserve? Y'all, so I heard that Schindler in Chief is giving us back our own bathrooms. And listen, I cannot be more excited. You mean to tell me that I no longer have to share a restroom with people who don't wash their hands? They don't even use washcloths. or they'll sit on the toilet seat without lining and won't even squat. You mean I no longer have to get like 20 paper towels to open the door when I leave the bathroom? Listen, I know that the Shitler in chief did not think that separating toilets was gonna make us come back outside. That was a gift. You know what? I know y'all listen, black women. I know we don't like a lot of things that Trump is doing, and we're gonna get back to our regular scheduled program tomorrow, right? Because he gonna do something else stupid. But today, we're gonna thank him for giving us our bathrooms back. Now, listen, y'all go see the videos. Only certain people are talking about that there's a discrimination. Black women, I am honored to share a bathroom with just y'all.
More Trump voters are publicly regretting their vote for Donald Trump as he continues to back out of campaign promises and instead focuses on his billionaire friends. Now, first it was the Steelworkers Union out of Pennsylvania. Now firefighter unions in New York City are publicly speaking out as Donald Trump and Republicans failed to fund the 9/11 first responder healthcare program that is designed to help the first responders who are still suffering from being there on the ground during 9/11. Now, you could say that Donald Trump had nothing to do with that, but understand Republicans took that out of the funding bill under direction from President-elect Trump and Elon Musk. Now, so far, Donald Trump has only focused on delivering for his billionaire buddies and nonsense such as Greenland, Canada, Mexico, Panama, all this stuff that he didn't talk about. Not once have you heard him talk about lowering gas prices, lowering grocery prices, your energy bill, etc. All the things he promised during the campaign.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Furaha. If you're joining us for the first time, if you have never seen this face before, if you have never encountered this channel before, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for making the time to watch the video and especially watching it to this point. Guys, I really want to appreciate each and every one of you for the warm support, for the massive support that you keep giving me on this channel to make sure that this channel grows and I grow as a person. So guys, I don't take that for granted. I hope that you accept my sincere appreciation. Now guys, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please make a point to do that right now before you forget. Please press the subscribe button. Be part of this amazing family, be part of this amazing journey, be part of this amazing story, and for that I will really appreciate. Guys, on today's video we are talking about white people actually asking for a truce between them and the black people. Now, I know what that makes you feel already, even before we go into the depths and the details of what this is about. And for one, I know that black people do understand that for a white person to ask for a black person's help, it's usually because they have, you know, hit a dead end. Yeah, they have hit rock bottom and they now feel like the only people that can come to their rescue, and who have always been doing that anyway, are the black people. Now, white people are not known for exactly wanting to have an interaction, a relationship with black people. They have made black people know that for a very long time, yeah? They have been having those fights that they create. They have been having situations that really show anyone that is keen to notice that they don't really exactly love to have a relationship with black people. And all that they would ever want is for them to retain the same relationship they've had with black people for ages. The kind of relationship where they are the masters and the black people are their servants. That is what is comfortable for them. Now, when you try to introduce a relationship where black people and white people are equal, these people don't know how to behave around that. They do not know how to live within that kind of a premise, because for them, they have been taught, it has been instilled in them that they are way better than black people, and for that reason they do not know how to live otherwise. They do not know how to exist otherwise. For them, it's either blacks are losing and they're winning, or they are managing black people and they're controlling black people around. And if it's not anything in that line, then they don't know how to exist with black people. They don't know how to be friends with black people, because in their minds they're not the same as black people. In their minds they are superior. In their minds they are way better than black people. Now, anytime you see white people having this introduction of, you know, wanting to be friends with black people, wanting to be closer to black people, wanting to make amends with black people, then you in your mind, you definitely know that that is something that they have thought about, and it's a skill, it's a practice that they use only when they want to get something, when they want to get something out of black people. They have done that for way too long that black people already know that tactic, yeah? They know that it cannot be for nothing, it cannot be clean, yeah? It's not a clean friendship that they're trying to find. It is only, it only comes when they have something they want to get from black people, and they have tried any other means to get it and they have failed. And now they know that the only way for them to acquire this thing that they so much need is for them to try to find that piece that is usually not even existent, to try to come up with a means to help them look as if they care about black people, as if they are interested in black people, as if they love to have friends and friendships with black people. Now, once they acquire that which they want, they will walk away the same way they have done before, the same way they have always been doing. And black people are already aware of this, so it's not something that is new to them. It's not something that freaks them out. It's not something that they are just learning now. They have known that for ages because it has been happening. It's been recurrent. Generation after generation, that is what they do. That is what they have been taught to behave like around black people. When you need something from black people, and because they also take advantage of the fact that black people are giving people. And sometimes that makes me upset, feeling like, is it time for black people to just like cut that part of them where they're always giving too much than they receive? They don't actually receive anything at all, if you're being honest. Black people will help you in situations. It doesn't matter what race you come from. It doesn't matter that you are white. They will always help when they can. Yeah, that is the true nature of an African, of a black person. And for that reason, these white people have learned to take advantage of that, so much so that they even behave a certain way. For example, when we're talking about colonialism and how it happened, that is exactly how it happened. Now, this is not to introduce the idea that black people and Africans are the same, or, you know, anything in those lines. This is just to emphasize the fact that black people have always had that innate ability to just be human around other humans. They have always been hospitable enough, and people have taken advantage of them. They came to Africa, for example, and black people, Africans, not invited them, they welcomed them over without thinking twice, you know, without thinking that these people could actually have the potential to take advantage of them. That is not instilled in black people's minds. They're always thinking positive about people. They're always thinking, you're human, so you deserve this kind of treatment. You deserve humility. You deserve hospitality, yeah? And once they did that is when this white man took advantage of them and actually took away from them their most valuable assets, and keeps doing that even to this day. And what is even more annoying is that the black people have not learned a way or devised means to make sure that they don't fall victim of those kind of people. They still believe that people have the innate ability to just be kind, to just be human. They think that the way it occurs to them naturally, being a good, decent human being, it should be running across everywhere else. And to their surprise, white people are not like that. White people will befriend you because they want something from you. They cannot just be clean friends. They have to be getting something from you for them to be close to you. Now that is trouble, because black people are yet to learn to cope with that. They are yet to learn how to live with people that behave like that. Now guys, let me know what you think about this video of white people asking for black people to be friends, for them to achieve, of course, the help that they need with President Trump. They need President Trump to, you know, to be fought in such a manner that he's going to bring change to America. They voted for this guy simply because they wanted him to harass black people. You know, like, those are the contradictions that I'm actually talking about. They are willing enough to vote for someone that is going to make the lives of black people horrible because it doesn't affect them, because it's not going to make them be in a bad place. So they are comfortable with whatever happens to the other people, the other races, as long as their interests is taken care of. They knew that, of course, President Trump was going to harass the black people. He was going to harass the immigrants and stuff like that. But they were comfortable with that. That's why they voted for him. And especially, most of them you've heard confessing that they actually did that on purpose. And that just shows you what else is hidden within their hearts. Within the depths of their hearts is darkness that you do not want to imagine, that you cannot comprehend. And that's why I keep telling black people, if there is a way that you can live without having to need these people, then you better do it. Now, disclaimer, when we're talking about horrible white people, we're not talking about all white people. I do know that there are white people that are way capable of doing good, and they do it, and we have seen it. And I'm just making sure that you all understand that we're not generalizing anything. We do appreciate those whites that are different, that have chosen to be different, that have grown in environments that have made them horrible to black people, but they have come to their senses. They have learned as adults, they have learned that it's wrong what they were doing, and they have decided to make a deliberate move to change, to become different, to become better. We do appreciate those ones. But for those that keep roaming around with darkness in their hearts, those are the ones that we're talking about. Guys, let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's interact. Let's talk about these things. If you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly consider doing that right now before you forget. And returning subscribers, thank you so much, guys. I don't know how to thank you enough. Thank you so much for the support that you have always given to your girl. And I don't take that for granted. We'll never do that. And guys, I hope that you're also keeping safe from wherever you're watching me from. Share this video to friends, family, people that are like-minded. Like the video, let it reach as many people as possible. That is what happens when you like a video, when you leave a comment, when you share it to friends and family and other people. You make the video go viral. So thank you so much as you purpose to do that. Guys, I hope that you're also keeping safe from wherever you're watching me from. Guys, I'll see you on my next video. Bye for now and take care.